So based on these objective criteria, we say that these nations exist, they're oppressed by imperialism, and they deserve self-determination, that is, the right to determine their own destiny, political, economic, social, and to develop fully in that way. We also say that the colonies of the U.S., Puerto Rico, Guam, American Samoa deserve full independence. So in our work in the unions, our theory is class struggle unionism. So based on ideas that were developed mostly by William Z. Foster, but we've developed past that with our own experiences, we say that a lot of the unions in this country are not interested in class struggle. They're interested in class collaboration. They want to work together with the bosses. They have an idea of like business unionism, or that the bosses and the workers share similar interests, and our view is that they don't. They have nothing in common. So we say that the unions have to be transformed into organizations of class struggle. And the way to do this is to locate the advanced, or what Foster called the militant minority, and lead struggles against the boss, even if the union bureaucrats don't want to, by mobilizing and organizing the rank and file. And that's what we do. That's in a nutshell. That's Freedom Road's history and theory, and I would be happy to get into any of those points in more depth in Q&A and discussion.
What particular concerns does your organization have to do in terms of trying to resist economism, as laid out by somebody like Lenin? Like, what concerns do you have? Like, oh, we don't need to do that, we shouldn't do this because it would be economism.
I think that gets sort of into, back to the points. Let's see. I was talking about, our sort of, there it is. We have the 3 strategic objectives. If all we were trying to do was win all that could be won for the people and harm the enemy, then I think that would be economism. But we say that that's not enough. That's not going to do it. We have to raise the level of consciousness, organization, and struggle with mass organizations as well. And the most important part is what we see as the central task of our organization is winning the advance to Marxism-Leninism, building an organization for revolution. In my opinion, that's fundamentally different than economism, which says we need to build the economic struggle, and the political struggle is nothing.
For those that missed your talk earlier today about the struggle for students' rights, how do you think students directly fight against the bourgeois?
The main way is through, the education rights struggle is big. If you have students in 39 states on 100 campuses, hundreds of thousands of students in the street fighting back against privatization of the universities, or fighting against cutbacks and tuition hikes, students are overwhelmingly come from the petty bourgeoisie, but they're fighting against the monopoly capitalists who are taking over their schools. That's good, and it's important and valuable. Overall, students eventually need to, when they graduate, they need to transform themselves and enter the working class and become a part of the class struggle.
Yeah, you mentioned that you had involvement, again, with the student struggles, but also with the RNC last year. But I mean, these are sort of, I don't quite want to call it United Front. I mean, obviously it's a United Front in a sense. But getting into like the actual politics of, like, say, the insurrectionary anarchists who were like, yes, let's burn all the dumpsters in town, and that'll show them like, how do you sort of mitigate that in a mass movement? Or how does the FRSO deal with that
Right.
aspect?
So in the RNC stuff, you know, I wasn't one of the direct organizers of that, but I'm well aware of what happened. You know, it happened in St. Paul, right? So we put forward a set of principles called the St. Paul Principles, and said that anybody that will work within this framework, we want to work with them and do that. And everybody agreed to it. The RNC Welcoming Committee, other anarchists agreed to it. And basically it was that we respect the diversity of tactics, and anybody that wants to organize anything is welcome to do so, as long as there's a separation of time and space. You know, because if we're going to build a march that includes immigrants who don't want to be deported, there needs to be a separation of time and space between them and the people that want to break windows. You know, so those were there was another one that I can't remember, but those are the basic principles, and the idea is that you have to be clear and upfront and define things, and you can work together with people. And so then, you know, of course, the anarchists got attacked pretty severely and were repressed, and you know, people wanted us to denounce them, and we wouldn't do it. You know, what they did, they chose to do. They abided by the St. Paul Principles, and great.
You made the comment that, you know, once students graduate from college and they, you know, again, rather than going on to corporate jobs and just trying to make a lot of money, instead they should, you know, become part of the working class. Could you say more about, in I guess, more specifics about how a student who has recently graduated might do that, or what you have in mind when you say that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, the idea is we're trying to build a party of the working class, not a party for the working class, but a party of workers, right? That's directly involved in the class struggle. So, you know, part of what we do is, you know, students should go get jobs at UPS. You know, take UPS for example. All the UPS centers in the world practically are organized by the Teamsters, and within the Teamsters, you know, there's a lot of corruption, but there's also a vibrant rank and file movement of Teamsters for the Democratic Union that people could participate in, and you know, so well, that would be one concrete example. Maybe there are other examples in different places where different unions make more sense, but you know, the idea is simple. You know, students shouldn't go on and become lawyers and doctors or whatever. They shouldn't abandon their class, or if they come from a different class, they should transform their class and enter the working class and fight as workers.
I have a concern that I think is linked. You said that the FRSO is not a party, but it's a pre-party organization. And it seemed to be connected to your analysis of the mass line, which is there are three, right? There's the vanguard, the most advanced elements, the intermediate, and the rear guard. And you said, right, that the most advanced elements then get the intermediate to mobilize.
Yeah.
So in this case, because the FRSO is a pre-party organization, then is the goal then to get the most advanced elements to mobilize the intermediate, or is the current goal to simply get together the most advanced elements to find other more advanced elements so that at some time in the future they can mobilize the intermediate?
Pretty much the first one. So, you know, there's a fourth category, which is the conscious elements, which are the revolutionaries. You know, we're not the advanced. We see the advanced as people who want to fight and are receptive to revolutionary ideas. So we want to immediately discover through mass struggle, discover and identify the advanced, bring our ideas to them, support their advanced ideas, and allow those ideas and the struggle that we can bring forward in that to broaden and build connections to the broader masses. Yeah. Does that answer your question? Does that make sense?
I think so, yeah.